The idea with Peridot, since the early days, since we're even just a concept on paper, was to build for the future. Our goal was we want to be outdoors on glasses when that technology is there. But right now, we're meeting players where they're at. And so last year, we launched Peridot. We launched it on mobile, really to push the boundaries of the technology on mobile. And as these technologies become more advanced over time, we want to build the most amazing, magical, compelling experiences for those devices. And right now, we're kind of in this interesting inflection point with technology becoming even better. So with mixed reality headsets, with MetaQuest 3, for example, we have color pass-through. And that means that we can now bring these creatures that were on phone into the real world. Hello Dot is this amazingly magical experience. When you play it, you put it on for the first time, you're immersed into this world with your dot right there in front of you in a way that we were never able to accomplish on mobile. And so with Hello Dot, you can actually kind of feel the tangibility, the physicality of this dot. You can pick it up from the ground. You can kind of pet its ears and you'll see its ears go back. You can kind of like poke towards its face and it'll kind of like wince away at you. And so we're bringing this really amazing immersion of this world of Paradot to players in a completely unique and different way.
How it's different from the mobile app is the mobile app itself is a game end to end. Hello Dot is more of an experience with a deeply immersive and interactable Paradot versus watching your Paradot in a scene on the mobile app. In the headset, you can hug it, touch it, give it cute little pets, watch it run around the room.
You know, a lot of folks have asked us, like, why do Hello Dot on mixed reality, and why did you start with mobile AR? And I think the truth of it is that when we first pitched Paradot, it was always intended to be kind of a headset experience. It's just that, you know, we at Niantic are big fans of cooperating with other players. It's social, and we want to bring people outside and bring the real world closer to all of us. And I think VR at the time felt very isolating and closed off. It was a singular kind of lonely experience.
The technology wasn't quite there yet when it came to the headset hardware. We still wanted to make that jump into AR, fully just immersive AR with no menus and maps, and that was sort of the first iteration of Peridot, was essentially just fully AR. And we kind of saw that as a stepping stone on our path towards other devices, wearable technology.
Without spoiling too much, like, it genuinely does feel like the Paradot, the virtual pet, is in your palms. Like, you can really squeeze and interact with it. It truly just, when it looks at you and it slow blinks, like, it is something else. It's magical. It really does, I think, tug at the heartstrings. Seeing it like right in front of you, I think it's just so real.
Yeah, so I think when people initially see the dot, it's this adorable baby. They have that immediate reaction of like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so now when you put them in the headset, it feels even so much more real. You see these people picking up their dots and feeling how real that is in your hands. People kind of almost forget that this creature isn't actually there in the real world with them, but the technology is so amazing that it kind of tricks your brain into feeling like these creatures are there with you. They're there with you all the time.
It's really darn cute, I'll tell you that much. It feels warm and fuzzy. It feels new and exciting. It feels real. And that's the coolest thing about headset is the ability to make these little digital creatures feel real, feel like something that's in your room with you, feel like a thing that wants to play with you and you want to play with.
There's not really much I can say about that first experience. You really have to experience it yourself.
I've been fortunate enough to demo Hello Dot for a lot of new folks who've never tried Hello Dot before, and I think the most consistent reaction is just gasps and like people going, oh, it's so cute. I've heard that phrase so many times, and they just like lean in and they just stare at this like big baby creature with the big eyes. And I think the second reaction is like poking it, smacking it around, all of these things, which we don't condone, by the way, but we can understand that people are really excited to, be hands-on with something in a way that having a phone in your hand was never, intuitive for.
I've watched a lot of people try this for the first time, and all of them have a giant smile 100% of the time. Even if they have never played Paradot on their phone, they see Paradot and they're like, oh, it's so cute. And 9 times out of 10, they want to hold it like a baby. They want to cuddle it and pet it, which coming from the world of VR before Niantic, that is not the normal response of people in VR. People in VR are usually like, wow, this is amazing. But that level of intimacy and yearning to touch a virtual thing, they are seeing this magic happen. And what is the difference between technology and magic? You know, who knows? The line is constantly blurred, and I feel like Peridot is just bringing magic to people now.
I think people want to interact with virtual pets because they bring a sense of like tangibility, especially in a mixed reality context, especially when you see it like running around your living room, you know, it can jump on the couch with you. But I think, you know, the future is in the nature of those interactions. It's not just seeing it, but, you know, for our experience in Hello Dot, you can feel it, you can touch it, you can interact with it, you can pet it. And I think people will be really drawn to that experience.
For a lot of people in headset specifically and in mixed reality, like this is very new. It's strange and exciting and new, but like different, and that can be kind of intimidating. So, you know, I think especially in headset, especially in mixed reality, digital pets are really compelling because it gives you kind of a familiar touchstone to help explore kind of that new metaverse realm.
So Hello Dot requires a lot of advanced technology when it comes to the physics of it, the hand tracking, the overall sort of advanced AI, and all of that required better hardware than what we had before. The hardware on the phones took us only so far. It required this new sort of evolution of the technology into headsets and head-mounted displays before Hello Dot and before the full immersion of you picking up a dot was possible.
Right now is a really great time for an experience like Hello Dot. VR and HMDs are kind of like on a resurgence. Not only is the technology getting better, where we're able to have fully wireless headsets where you can just put it on your head and walk around without being tethered to your machine. And we also have cool tech like hand tracking and stuff like that can make interacting with things on your headset very like interesting, very tactile.
It's a launch on Meta's App Labs, which is reserved for new experiences and beta experiences. You can just go over to App Lab right now and download it and play it if you want to. We hope to eventually expand it and launch it into the full App Store in the future. But right now it's an experience there for our players to enjoy and anyone who has a headset to experience.
I think that Hello Dot is one marker in a long evolution of Paradots into the future. And in that future, I envision them to feel even more realistic and have even more of a sophisticated personality. But in parallel to that, the actual technology of the hardware will improve as well. And that means that you could potentially have these beings on any sort of wearable glasses-based technology, maybe something that's not as massive as these goggles that just replicate the display of the world with cameras, but something that has actually more pass-through, something that you can take outdoors.
Maybe we could have like matching outfits sometimes, and then we could have multiplayer experiences where people can see my dot and myself, and then people around me who's also sharing the mixed reality experience.
I think hopefully 10 years from now, people will look back at Hello Dot and say like, you know, this was a turning point, an inflection in the way that we think about, you know, mixed reality content and the new generation of, you know, immersive experiences. I think there's a lot of things that have been built from the ground up for virtual reality that have been a smash success. But I think there's also a lot of approaches of, you know, like, oh, we're going to take a AAA release on a known IP and we're going to port it over to VR to attract a new audience. I think what's really different about Hello Dot is that I think we are the first immersive experience that's built from the ground up for mixed reality, not virtual reality, not augmented, but the blending of the real world and the digital world. And I think the medium of a virtual pet and the way that we've, you know, really made it tangible and like it feels real in your hand, I think that's going to be the focus, you know, bringing something to life that's realistic and it lives in the reality that we all live and share. And I think hopefully we see more experiences and more, you know, developers taking inspiration from Hello Dot going forward.
There aren't a lot of mixed reality apps. in general. And we are one of the first mixed reality apps on a phone. We are definitely one of the first mixed reality apps on a headset that is focused on consumer. And I think what's really special about this is we have spent a lot of time making the Dot look and feel real as our #1 foundation. And I think a lot of other companies and teams that build applications for mixed reality, which there aren't a lot of, so I shouldn't say a lot of these companies. The few companies that are building this are focusing on a gameplay mechanic first, or they're focusing on the scene first. They're focusing on the table and what we could do on the table. And we are saying, this is not a table game. This is a Dot interacting with you in your world. And I think we will be the paradigm that other companies point to and say, we want to make it feel as real as that.
I think as XR develops and the industry grows, what I think I'm most excited about is basically how it integrates to just everyday life. I don't think it's going to completely change how people do things, how people live, everything. You know, technology grows, but it adapts to people. So I'm curious to see how it makes our lives easier as well as more interesting. I think how Paradot can fit in there is, I see a future where Paradot's not really an app, but almost like a companion that's always there, something you can always rely on and go to.
This is just the beginning. I have never experienced this level of heartwarming interactions with the AR object, and it's beyond the imagination. So I believe that in the 10 years later, AR pet's gonna be more common. It's gonna be something natural thing for people to experience. Maybe the kid's gonna experience the AR pet when they're very young and growing up together. And when they're looking back, 10 years ago, Peridot appeared as a fast AR pet, successfully interact with the people, integrated with MR technology and AI.
I think Hello Dot is an incredibly special product, even for how simple it is. As we look forward to where technology is heading, I think we're in this really interesting inflection point in time, where we've had devices in our pockets for almost a decade plus, but these devices are becoming more and more advanced. We're heading into a world where we have headsets that you can wear at home, but over time we'll have headsets and glasses that you can wear outside. And for us, Hello Dot is this incredible point in time where we can start to build experiences for what these future devices have, for what these experiences can look like, for what content can look like on these future devices. You know, at Niantic, we want to build experiences that are really additive to the world. I think, when people think about, headsets and glasses and the future of augmented reality, there's kind of this dystopian view of you see ads everywhere you go. But with Niantic and with Peridot especially, we want to build an experience that's really additive to your day, that doesn't distract you from the real world, but brings joy and extra delight into your real world. And so these creatures will be with you as you're walking down the street by your side through your glasses, but they won't always be kind of distracting you from the beauty of the real world. And so I look at Hello Dot as the step one of these amazing experiences to come from Niantic and from the Peridot team. And I'm excited to see what we can build as time goes on. We want to be outdoors again with our players. And so for the day when those glasses are here, we want to have all the amazing best learnings. We want to develop the experiences in the way that we think can lead to a lot of delight and enjoyment for our players in the future, so that hopefully when you're down the street in 2 or 3 years down the line, you'll have a creature that you can see through your glasses in the world with you.